Crime suspect Chukum killed by gunmen in Manchester, Jamaica. A man who was listed as a suspect and person of interest in several murders, shootings and robberies committed in Manchester and St. Elizabeth was killed by gunmen in Old England, Manchester on Monday morning. Police identified the deceased as Sh0t0ut, otherwise called Chukum, a notorious figure in South Central Jamaica who managed to elude the police on multiple occasions. He is one of 4 persons of interest for a whole heap of robberies and murders, and we would have launched several operations in search of him. We wanted him for questioning, said the police source. The source said that about 1:30 a.m. residents of Old England heard loud explosions and called the police. The sources said when the police team arrived at the scene, they identified the shooting victim as Sh0t0ut. He was found lying on his back with gunshot wounds to the head in front of the Old England Postal Agency. Sh0t0ut was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Cop shot dead in St. Thomas, Jamaica. 37-year-old policeman was shot dead on Monday afternoon in York District in Seaford, St. Thomas. He has been identified as District Constable Mark Forsyth, who was assigned to the Trinityville Police Station. Information reaching the news team is that about 3:10 p.m. the cop received a call from residents of strange men were seen in a lane of York Main Road. The cop, it is understood, made contact with the St. Thomas Operations Support Unit (OSU) and then informed them of what he was told. He then went to the lane to investigate. Shortly after, gunshots were heard. He was later found at the rear of the premises suffering from gunshot wounds. He was transported by the police to the Princess Margaret Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Shock as ambitious young man killed in St. Anne. Shock and grief have engulfed family members, friends and colleagues of popular sale professional who was found dead with stab wounds in Paris, St. Anne on Saturday morning. The deceased is 32-year-old Wesley Trench of Mount Edgecombe, Runaway Bay in the parish. In addition to being a sales representative of a popular cigarette company, Trench operated Cloud9 Sports Bar in Prairie. He was also a past student of Yorkesa High School in Brownstown, St. Anne. Reports are that about 5:50 a.m. on Saturday, a passerby stumbled upon the body beside a car along the roadway and alerted the police. On their arrival, the police found the body with what appears to be stab wounds to the upper section of his body. No motive for the killing has so far been established by the police investigator. As news of the death spread, many persons expressed shock that the budding entrepreneur and young professional was killed in such a manner. As those mourning Trench's death is brother Vladimir Trench. One of the things I prayed relentlessly for is that my mother would live her entire life, never having to suffer the pain of losing one of her children, he wrote on Facebook on Saturday. Unfortunately, the hands of criminals have taken the life of my mother's youngest child, Wesley Trench. Man gets 9 years in prison plus in prison for severing boy ears. A St. Mary man was charged after he used a machete to sever an ear of a teenager during a dispute over a year ago. Has been sentenced to 9 years in prison and 5 months in prison. Delmar Hinds, a resident of Lucky Hill, St. Mary, was sentenced on Friday in the Home Circuit Court in downtown Kingston after previously pleading guilty to wounding with intent in the St. Mary Circuit Court. Hinds, 36, a father of 8 children. Prior to the sentencing being handed down, High Court Judge Justice Simone Wolf-Rees stated that Hinds pursued the complainant in Lucky Hill, St. Mary, and then chopped him several times on the head. She said such behavior is not acceptable and should not be tolerated at any level. Reports are that about 12:05 a.m. on Thursday, November 4, 2021, Hinds confronted a 17-year-old boy whom he accused of having committed a crime. An argument developed between the teenager and the now convict, who allegedly used a machete to chop the boy in his head and severing his right ear in the process. The police were summoned and Hinds was subsequently arrested and charged.